Welcome to Pacific Mystery School. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are entering into the Lovers, the tarot card, the Lovers, a complex and very interesting card. We're on this journey that you've all been on, many of you have been on, and this is our journey through the tarot archetypes. Right now it's the major arcana. And today we arrive at key number 6, the Lovers. And we can see the major arcana laid out there in the 3-tier system. And there's a little circle there that just went up around the Lovers. We're working with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So this is just review. The 4 elements, fire, water, air, earth, the 10 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those are the spheres, and then the 22 connecting paths. And this is called path work on the Tree of Life. So no matter what part of the Tree of Life you are working with, you are doing what is called path work on the tree. This is just review. So we're working right now with the current iteration of the Western mystery tradition. And what that means, the current iteration means it keeps updating itself all the time. They call it the living tree of life. So it's never stuck in anything, but it does have roots in India, the Middle East, Northern Africa, and Southern Spain especially. Okay, we'll talk about that in the future. And the word Kabbalah, this is why it's the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So the word Kabbalah or Kabbalah, depending on what language you're speaking, means to receive. And it means to receive the ageless cosmological wisdom. This is from a search that has been going on, that people have been engaged in for over 1,000 years. Humans have been pursuing this particular path. The Tree of Life itself is a vortex of teachings. It contains these teachings, and it provides a step-by-step path for a spiritual journey, and has for a long time. And now we're studying in Pacific Mystery School, a super current iteration, because it was founded by me in 1990. And I had already been deeply immersed in the Western mystery tradition in several mystery schools. And my mother had also been immersed in several mystery schools. And then she and I created Tarot of the Spirit. So this is just background. A Kabbalistic tarot deck, because it contains all that knowledge. And a lot of tarot decks don't, but ours does. It is all contained in their comparative religion, especially. So it's psychology, it's psychological, it's sociological, it's mythological, and it has comparative religion. It's probably, Tarot of the Spirit is probably one of the only tarot books, or maybe the only tarot book that's footnoted. And if you look at the footnotes, they relate back to all these different religions and the depths of the study that I was in at the time when I was writing that book. Okay, now this is special today because, and this is, here's the Beatles, right? They say it's your birthday, neener, neener, neener. It's my birthday too, yeah, ooh. Okay. So one way to enter your studies in the Western mystery tradition, which I think most of you know, is through your birthday. But in case you don't know this, you can find your major arcana birth card, the birth archetype, and the other cards that go with your birth date. So you have a constellation of cards, and you can look up in Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit. There's a calendar there, or there's, the birth date calendar, where you can look at all your related cards. But this is how you do it in case you don't know. I think everybody knows this, but in case you don't, this is my birthday, and I am now confessing. I have never put my birthday anywhere, but this is my actual birth date, 3/12/1953. That's the date. So you add it up. So you add 3, just like you would in 3rd grade. I don't know if you remember that, but this is how they did it. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 3 is 8. on the bottom, right? So you continue that, you carry whatever you do. Anyway, and it comes to 1968, which I think is significant because that may have been the most significant year of my life. It was a very significant year in the universe. But then you take the 1968 and you add it across 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 8, and that equals 24. And then you break it down further. You add 2 plus 4, and that's 6. That's how you get your birth card. And then once you know the number and you know the date of your birth, then you can get the rest of your cards. So my card is the Lovers. And it is a card that very much baffled me. So, and I'll explain why. But I related more to the Priestess, which felt like my archetype. But now I really understand the Lovers as of today much better. Okay, so this is the calendar from the Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit book. And so what you do on this is you find your birth date, and I put the orange line in. It goes through March 11th to 20th. So that's where my birth date falls. So then I can see, if I follow it from the center out, that orange line, I can see these are my cards. So the Lovers is my card, and then Pisces is my sign. And then you have to look at the code on the bottom. You see the next card out is 10 of water. That's the 10 of water. And then it's the date. Then it goes through Fire Mother, Wind Sister, and 1 of Wind. Okay, so that's your constellation of cards. And so those are my cards. Pisces, which relates to the moon, because the moon rules Pisces. 10 of water, Fire Mother, Wind Sister, 1 of Wind. And these cards have really identified the course of my life. And that is another mystery. Why it works, how it works. I can't say I understand how it works, but it's almost like a living dream. So if you haven't looked up your cards, do that and see how it fits for you. Okay, so here at key 6, which is also called path 17 on the Tree of Life, the Divine Mother, which is the Divine Feminine, lovingly embraces the sacred Son who is wounded. Now, this is one of the mysteries. It's not between the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine at the top of the tree. It's between the Mother and the Son, which I will explain. And in this case, the Son is wounded. If you look closely at the Son, you see he's bleeding. His legs are bleeding. And they embrace around a sword. You see the sword down the middle, which is key to this card. And they also embrace around a caduceus. So you've got a sword going down, which represents the intellect, and it can hurt you. They have to embrace loosely. And if you look at the top of the sword, you see the 2 snakes moving up the top, and that's the caduceus, which is the symbol of healing for the American Medical Association, but it's an ancient symbol of healing. So the sword crosses the crossbar of Venus, because if you look at the card, you can also see the glyph for Venus. You may not be able to see this, but I'll show it to you. The crossbar of Venus is what they're sitting on. It crosses the bottom of Venus. So the sword itself constitutes the middle pillar of the Tree of Life. It goes right down the middle pillar, and the middle pillar is the pillar of mildness. It's called the pillar of mildness. The pillar of mildness is centered between the female pillar, which we see is under the Mother on the left, and then on the right, the male pillar centered under the Father. So we've got the female pillar, the pillar of mildness, and then the male pillar. And they have different names, but I don't want to go into those right now. Well, I did go into it. So the female pillar is actually the pillar of severity. We'll talk about it later. And the male pillar is the pillar of mercy. So the sword is a weapon, but it also represents the intellect. And the lovers are embracing around the sword, which is strange. It's an intellectual tool, even as they balance on the crossbar of Venus. Okay, so here are some of the symbols of the card: Mercury and Venus. And I will show you those symbols. The wings of cosmic love are at the top of the card. There is a wounding on the card, which is really important. There is healing on the card with the caduceus. And then there's holding gently around this blade and balancing on the bar of Venus. Okay, now here's where you can see the symbols. This is the symbol of Mercury appearing on the card that I just put up there. That's the astrological symbol for Mercury. Okay, and so that appears on the card. Then you have the symbol for Venus, and that's where you see the crossbar they're sitting on. They're right in the circle between Mercury and Venus. And then on the left side, I just put up the caduceus, which is healing, that goes all the way up through the center of this card. And for those who have ears to hear, as they say, the caduceus is based, the symbol of the caduceus, healing, which is an ancient symbol, is based upon the pattern of the tree of life. So here's where we get into a lot of sacred geometry, and we'll talk more about that in the future, not today, but it's part of the sacred geometry. And then we also get into mythology, because Mercury is a god, the Greek god, who represents the intellect, communication, and eloquence. Mercury is the messenger of the god and the bestower of the healing arts. And you can see on the Mercury picture on the left, he's holding the caduceus. That's his symbol. That's the snakes going up the central pillar, so to speak. So he is the messenger of the gods and the bestower of the healing arts. He protects travelers and guides souls. He guides souls to the underworld, which is the realm of the dead. So he's a protector and guide through all these different dimensions. And then we can also see in the card, superimposed as we just saw, the sign for Venus. And Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. So that's in the card too, Venus, the goddess Venus. Mercury, the god Mercury, rules Gemini, and Gemini is the sign for the astrological symbol. This is a lot of symbolism on this card. Mercury rules Gemini, and Gemini is the astrological symbol for this card. Gemini is the astrological sign of the lovers, and it refers to the twins. So it's got two pillars standing there and coming together. Gemini, the twins. Now, Gemini, the constellation, refers to the twins in Greek mythology. So this is a big part of this card too. So the twins were, in Greek mythology, they were Pollux and Castor, who were the sons of Leda, and she was the queen of Sparta. So these two twins, the sons of Leda, have two different fathers. Castor was the son of Leda's husband, Tyndareus, who was the king of Sparta, and he was immortal. He was immortal. And Pollux was the son of Zeus, the king of the gods, and Zeus was immortal. So we have these two twins. This is critical. One mortal, one immortal. These two twins are brave warriors. They're super devoted to each other. They're always in battle together. They're always traveling together. And when Castor was killed in battle, Castor was mortal. And when Castor was killed in battle, Pollux was devastated. And Pollux was immortal. So Pollux sought to give his brother his own immortality. And his own father, Pollux's father, Zeus, decided to help him. So he assisted, and he allowed Zeus allowed both brothers together to go together, alternating between Olympus, which was the realm of the gods, and the underworld, which was the realm of the dead. So they got to go back and forth from the gods to the dead, gods to the dead. Then Zeus transformed the brothers into the constellation Gemini, which Gemini symbolizes loyalty, devotion, and eternal connection in and between both worlds, the world of immortality and the world of mortality. So those are the twins. Here's a couple of twins. The Gemini twins, brothers of two different fathers. So the mystery of Pollux and Castor, this bond they have, and the question of their birth regarding immortality and mortality, and their ability or inability to travel together between worlds is a huge contradiction. And then here's another contradiction of the Lover's card. This has to do with the Lover's card. Another contradiction is that their mother, Leda, had a huge contradiction because it was said that Zeus came to her disguised as a swan. This is the story. You've heard this story maybe, Leda and the swan. And so Zeus came to her disguised as a swan and seduced her and or raped her, and probably he raped her. That's the story. And that's how Pollux came to be in the first place. So right away, Leda has this problem with what can we call it? With conception and where that comes from. She's got these two twin sons. So in Gemini, the story of Leda and the swan also comes to play because Gemini symbolizes the interplay of opposites. So you've got like love and violence interconnected in the Lovers with the sword. So you're dealing with this interplay of opposites, deities and mortals, mortality and immortality, life and death, male and female, light and shadow, compassion and violence, choice and no choice, agency and no agency. Do you have agency or do you not have agency? So I know you guys are thinking, wow, I had no idea that the Lovers contained all this stuff, but it does. And this is what I've learned about it. So the Lovers has something to do with crossing the abyss. And what the abyss is, and we'll see more pictures of it, the abyss is at the top of the tree of life, and it represents a gap or a space between worlds, the space of dark matter and luminous matter, the space of not being or of cosmos or of chaos, and then becoming something, moving into a thing, a form. So the abyss is between the two worlds of manifestation and non-manifestation. And when we come in, we cross the abyss, they say, and when we go out, we cross the abyss. So it's a gap between worlds. So when the sun is born, the umbilical cord is severed. So first, there's the crossing of the abyss, above and below. That's another contradiction, right? Above and below, or they call it above and below traditionally. So when the sun is born, the umbilical cord is severed. And when that umbilical cord is severed, the physical connection with the mother is severed, that where he is actually inside her body. And what happens is the son will eventually learn to navigate independently because he is wired for that. But he loses that immediate connection or oneness with his mother. And of course, he's going to have to depend on her kindness because she still has to support him. She has to nurse him. She has to feed him from her breasts, But this severance tells him he is cut away from the above. And yet, later, if he reaches inward, he might discover he is not completely severed. This is part of the mystery of the lovers. And so past 17 of the lovers, and we're looking at it on the tree of life, crosses the abyss between worlds. And the abyss is that shadowed part on the tree of life. It looks like a cloud. So it is said, as in a mystery, that when we are born, part of us stays in ascension. These are words that are used as humans have tried to find words to explain how we feel. Part of us stay in ascension while part of us descends into matter. Okay, so it is said, spirit, the spirit of the universe, the spirit of the cosmos materializes. And as the spirit materializes in form, matter is spiritualized and brought together. All the possibilities for matter come together and is spiritualized and becomes part of the living universe. And it is said, as in a mystery, that when we die, we return across the abyss. So here's the lovers, and here's the mystery of the lovers. As the spiritualized matter of the luminous world, that's everything we see, all the things we see, the luminous world. As the spiritualized matter of the luminous world, the eternal mother forever births the eternal son, who eternally grows up to be her lover, because she is situated on the other side of the abyss. Here comes the son, and he grows up and becomes her lover. It's a very complex relationship. So, and then part of the lovers is on this side of the abyss, and part remains on the other side of the abyss. And here's Leda and the swan again. So the next dimension, the abyss is the gap between worlds. So here again, I want to emphasize this. All the paths that cross the abyss, and these are the paths that cross the abyss: the priestess, emperor, hierophant, lovers, and chariot. Limited, those paths. All the paths that cross the abyss contain this seeming contradiction between immortality and mortality. They're the passage between the unmanifest and the manifest world and back again. And so this is with tarot, this is what happens on each of these paths. So path 13 is called the priestess. It's key number 2, the priestess in the major arcana. On that path, we remember when we draw that card, or when we are working with tarot, on that path, we remember our true calling or our destiny. That's the priestess. On the emperor, path of the emperor, we build a firm base of clear knowledge, and we remember our far. And so this word far, I discussed this in depth in the emperor lecture. Far is this illumination. It's illuminated spirit that comes with us as we emerge out of all cosmic possibility. Remember the far. Remember your cosmic self. Remember who you are. Remember you are glowing. Remember that the stars are inside of you and shining from you. That's far. Okay, then the Hierophant, past 16, this is where we connect with our inner and outer teacher and healer, and we remember our origins. We start to remember our origins. So I talked about all the levels of the Hierophant in the lecture on the key of the Hierophant. Then with the lovers, which is where we are today, past 17, we come into an understanding of this dualistic cosmic marriage. And as we look at the tree of life, we can see that both the mother, the energy of Bina, the mother, it flows into the sun across the abyss where that orange arrow is, but also equally the path of the Hakma, the father, sphere number 2, equally flows into the position of the sun. So that's equal, an equal flow of energy from both of those, from from Hakma, the father, and that happens to be the path of the emperor, and then the path of the lovers, straight into that sphere number 6, which is where the sun lives. So the lovers, understanding this dualistic cosmic marriage, the emperor and the cosmic mother both flow into the sun. And this is about our mortality. It has to do with our mortality and our immortality. And we will see in a minute, it also has to do with our voice and what we are going to express. Then the chariot, which we haven't done yet, but we will do next month, path 18, also crossing the chariot. It's the last path, crossing the abyss. The questions: who is the driver? Where are we from? Where are we going? And all of these are the questions that our species has been obsessed with from the beginning. We're still working with them. And you can see, maybe begin to see it's the roots of all our religions. Okay, so this crossing the abyss. So once again, these are the teachings. So this is a close-up. These are the teachings of those paths that cross the abyss. And this is like just in a nutshell. So the Empress grows the seed of creation. She's in number 14, and I've got the yin-yang sign in the middle there, the Empress, the path of the Empress. So she doesn't come across the abyss. She connects Bina, the mother, and Hakma, the father energy, number 2 and number 3. So she's between those two. So, okay, so she grows the seed of creation, and then it's going to flow across the abyss. The high priestess carries the cosmological story of creation across the abyss. So here comes the high priestess telling us who we are, who we've been. She's got the Akashic records. Then the emperor, with his cosmic power, protects creation. That's the idea, protects what is being created, what has been created. This is in the exalted form. The Hierophant, with his quintessential key to the cosmological temple, sanctifies creation. The Hierophant's the one who is always interpreting and telling us what's what and what to think and how to be and where we come from. That's the Hierophant archetype. Then the lovers birth creation into being as every child that manifests in the cosmos as cosmos. It is taught that we are cosmos. Cosmos gives birth to itself, and we are the rising cosmos that manifests, and then we will disappear, in a sense, back into this cosmos chaos from which we emerged, and it continues, it keeps going and going. And the chariot shows us the way back home, and that's what we're going to talk about next time. What does that mean, that the chariot shows us the way? So it's said that we seek part of ourselves when we move across that abyss into life. We are always seeking part of ourselves, that it's as if we're missing something. We're seeking the other. So part of ourselves, they say, stays in ascension, as if we're missing somebody or something along the way. So here's this seeking process that comes in. The mother and the son are like lost twins, and they're forever seeking one another. And this would be on the material plane, always looking, always seeking, always trying to find one another. And here we have the cosmic mother, and we have the wind brother, who is the essence of the cosmic son. So we have the divine mother, the divine son, and they're always reaching to find one another. So the sun reaches upward. Where did I come from? Who are you? What am I missing? And in the meantime, the cosmic mother she represents the cosmos, the universe, and she is reaching down. You are my son, I'm here. She's reaching toward him all the time. And then at the same time, the mother is reaching up to receive cosmic energy coming in to her, and at the same time she is reaching down toward the sun, and the sun is reaching toward the unmanifest and the manifest. And then when it all comes into balance, what happens is we have those two triangles crossing. So you see this symbol all the time of two triangles crossing, and I just put it on the lovers in the middle. It's that the Star of David or Solomon's seal. It's the two triangles above and below crossing. And this demonstrates the interplay of the contradictions of love. And so here I also put up Water Sister and Water Brother as examples because they're lover cards. Water Sister is priestess of the power of love divine, and interestingly rides the swan toward her destiny. And then Water Brother is seeking wholeness and moving into this place of becoming the wings of love, translating all of the terrible things that have happened to him and then making art out of that. And he rises into love with his searching and his reaching. So this phantom twins phenomenon, we seek our lost lover, we seek connection and belonging, the lost other, the lost lover. Is this the one? Are you the one? Have I found the one? Okay, so phantom twins, I wanted to explore that story for a second. I worked in birth for many years. I worked in the birth room as a doula and also director of a birth center. So I heard the story over and over from the midwives who worked in the birth center. And they were saying, we are always looking for our lost twin. And what the legend at the time, because this is a long time ago, was that most of us, this is what they taught, this is midwife legend being passed down, that most of us have lost, actually literally lost a twin in the womb. Okay, I didn't know what to think about that at the time, but now we know there is a thing called vanishing twin syndrome. It's real. They are now documenting it. And now we have ultrasounds. We have ways of exploring that scientifically. So in vitro fertilization cases, they are exploring this all the time. And what they find is that 7 to 36% of twins definitely disappear in the womb, and they are absorbed by the mother or by the other twin, which is interesting. Just something to think about. Vanishing twin syndrome. They call it VTS. So our twin, we could say, appears from the next dimension and to the next dimension recedes and leaves us searching. These are all creation stories. So these creation stories are really important because the way that we see the world beginning, and I'm trying to throw some different spins on it to take us out of some of the knowledge that we take for granted, which, what if we think of it differently? So born from our mother's womb and cut away from her body, and maybe losing our twin soul along the way, we may feel a sense of disconnect in this world, in this material plane. And we may wonder, what is our lone meaning? Me all by myself alone, because we know our universe specializes in creating individuals. Every single one of us is an individual. So what is our lone meaning all by ourselves in time and space? Are we here to learn about separation and unity? Are we here to learn about fear and love? This is the polarity of opposites. And so I wanted to look at another creation story, one that contrasts the fleeting and the eternal, the ephemeral and the eternal. And this is all very related to the path of the lovers. So in ancient Greece, Earth, our mother, so this is early creation stories. Earth, our mother, was called Gaia, and Gaia was a goddess. There's the twins again. So Gaia creates the world, and here's how she creates the world. So here's Gaia, the goddess, and she begins by creating the sky. That's her first creation. And then the sky becomes her husband. And through that relationship between Earth and her husband, we will come about. So here, like, she's creating the sky, the universe, and here's the Earth coming forward. And then here we come again. Here we are, the babies of the world. And here's the creation story of Gaius and Uranus. So Uranus is her husband. So this gives you the this is the birth chart. So here's Gaia at the top, and then we see here's Gaia and Uranus connecting. So here's where she creates the sky, and then they have all these babies. But she also creates the mountains, and she also creates the ocean. This is where we get our four elements, where we have the air, the earth, the ocean, and then there's the spirit of it all. And that all comes from ancient Greece, what we're working with in the Tarot. So Gaia and Uranus create all these children, give birth to these children, including the 12 Titans. And, and then down a little bit, we see they give birth to Kronos. And so I want to talk about Kronos, who was one of their sons. So here comes Gaia, and then she creates Uranus, who becomes her husband. That's part of the myth of the mother and the son. So she brings forth, and then what she brings forth becomes her husband. And then she creates a child. Okay, out of the sky. All right, so here she is creating Uranus. And then here he emerges as her husband. Now they become like humanoid figures, gods. Okay, so here's Kronos. Couple of different spellings on this, by the way. K with a K or with a C, it's all the same. Kronos comes to represent time. And time is ephemeral. Time is passing. And so it's a contrast between that which passes, that which is fleeting, and that which is eternal. So one of their children was Kronos, and then what happens with Kronos is Kronos overthrows his father, and his father Uranus. So he overthrows Uranus, and this brings in the progression of the generations. So now we start to see progression of the generations and the intertwining of life and death in time. So there are two kinds of time, Chronos and Kairos. So Chronos is chronological, sequential time, like we see on a clock, or like we see in life and death. It's a linear progression of seconds, minutes, hours, days, years, and it's transient and ephemeral. Then the other kind of time is Kairos, and Kairos is not sequential, it is qualitative, opportune, indeterminate moment in time. This is where we go when we meditate. This is where we go when we're looking for expansion of consciousness. We enter Kairos. It's not bound by the constraints of the clock or the calendar. It is all about the quality of the moment, and they call that divine time and divine timing. It's a divine window, and it transcends linear time. It's eternal. And this is part of what we're working with in the lovers, the juxtaposition of these two kinds of time, Chronos and Kairos. So when we're in time, Chronos, since our consciousness became very concerned with serial time or linear time, Chronos, the child of Uranus, begins to, quote, take over. And now Gaia is construed as both a birth giver and a death giver because of serial time. And then so what happens is we thank her for bringing us into life, but we also blame her for bringing us into death. Here you can see the roots or the seeds of how the mother means matter, the word, has been blamed for and considered less than because it's fleeting. So that's fleeting, and what's eternal is this eternal world. Okay, so over human time, the mother, matter, and material, which is the luminous world, which will all fade away, has become increasingly seen as less than because it's fleeting. Okay, so this is part of our history as Cro-Magnons. We're still Cro-Magnons. We're still working it through, right? So the real then has been touted as the chaos, the cosmos from which we emerge. That's what's real. It's our home across the abyss. And if we're good, we're going to go there when we die, and it's going to be, something beautiful. But that's the real, that's the eternal, that's the lasting. So the mother, so now here we're on the path again of the lovers. The mother in sphere 3 is ruled by Saturn, and the sun is ruled by the sun. So sphere 3, Saturn. So what does Saturn do? Saturn creates boundaries, limits in time and material, deadlines, and inevitable endings. Saturn's all about breaking up time. And then sphere 6, the sun, the idea is, so remember, he's across the abyss. He is living cosmos, shining now. So the sun, bringing renewed vitality, shining individuality, and far is that mysterious spiritual glow, growth, strength, confidence, courage, vision, leadership, seeking heights, flying high. So, but he's got limited time. He's going to have limited time. But here he goes. Okay. So the lovers, again, here's my birth card. And so here are some of the things that confounded me about the lovers and about this card. So here are my issues. And I think maybe you can tap in a little now that I just said all the things I said. The denigration of the sacred feminine. The sacred masculine's been exalted. The feminine was completely taken out of the cosmological triangle at the top of the tree. This is ancient knowledge, and it went from cosmic energies, male and female, which would be emitting and receiving, like atoms of the universe that are charged with positive and negative forces. It went from that to Father, Son, Holy Ghost. It cut out the mother. Okay, so this really bothered me a lot in the far distant past, but the denigration of the sacred feminine, or the complete removal of the sacred feminine from the creation of the universe, right? Also, it seems like the path of the lovers should be peers, so it should be on the path of the Empress between the mother and the father. So that bothered me too. The sacred masculine and the father in sphere number 2, and the divine feminine mother in sphere number 3. So that would be source, father, mother, and the path between father and mother of the universe would be the same, and they would both be receiving equally the universal energies. Okay, so that bothered me because we have the Empress between the 2 and the 3. Anyway, okay, so it bothered me that it wasn't a relation. The lover's card was not a relationship between peers. It was between the mother and the son. Okay, so the Empress, the very essence of the Empress at the top of the tree is to activate the interplay of attraction and reception between those cosmic forces of sacred masculine and sacred feminine that exist throughout the entire universe. Charged energies. Okay, and then at the center of the Empress, which we talked about in the Empress and the Priestess, when we talked about Empress and Priestess, right at the very center is the point of conception, where everything comes together. Then it's going to get carried across the abyss into the manifest world. Okay, but these things confounded me a lot. But now I begin to understand it differently. Okay, now I know the mystery of the lovers is creation itself. That's sphere number 3. That begins the creation. It is imbued with attraction, the power of attraction. Sphere number 2, attraction pours into creation. And then it manifests in sphere number 6 and then pours out again in the continuous motion by which the cosmic tree of life unfolds. It keeps unfolding, 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 producing ever new forms. And each form that is produced in the universe contains the principles of creation and attraction. It becomes self-creating, and the attraction and the reception is built in scientifically. Charged positive and negative forces throughout the universe. Every one of us is mortal. This is where I'm at now. This is what I believe now. Every one of us is mortal, and every one of us is immortal. We are Castor and we are Pollux. Oh, missing the A. We're Pollux. I want a capital A there. We are Pollux. We are Pollux. Our cosmic twin forever lives within and all around us. We are the lovers. We are the female and the male. We are all of it, and we are every single symbol on the lover's card. This is who we are. And here's the tree of life superimposed above and below. Here's a great mystery. And I had a realization of this several years ago, and I couldn't even understand it. This is the mystery. I and my son are one. And for example, I actually have a son, a living son. And one day I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, we are actually one being. We are a continuous being. We are a continuing flow of being in this universe. We are one being. I also am one with my mother, one continuous flow that goes on forever. We don't understand forever, but it goes on forever. And I am one with my Father. Both continuous flow of energy. In this picture here, this is a picture of the cosmos. And when I saw this picture, it's just looking out, into the stars, into the Milky Way. But when I looked at this picture, I saw a tree. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it just burst out at me like, oh my gosh, see? And there's the picture of the tree unfolding, unfolding, unfolding. As the tree of life unfolds in, as, of, by, and for the ever awakening cosmos. I am my mother, I am my father, I am my offspring. And also for those who have ears to hear, in the lover's card, the offspring isn't necessarily a child. The offspring is of spirit, heart, and mind, as well as body. It's whatever we're creating is our offspring. And here is a key teaching of the lovers: to experience the luminous world. That's everything that's created, the created world. Separation is necessary. Like to experience the awe, we have to feel ourselves separate from it to even see it. And to love another, which is to reach across, separation is necessary. How weird that is. But to recognize, oh, I love you. It's a separation, even as it's trying to move together, wanting to move together, but it's a separation. And then in Hebrew, the Hebrew word associated with the lovers, and these are some old associations, it's called zayin, Z-A-I-N, associated with the lovers. And interestingly, this word means, someday we'll talk about this more maybe, but it means weapon and penis, both. A weapon and a penis. And okay, I can't go into this right now, but it's the same in Old English, where we have in Old English weapon and penis are the same word. And we'll maybe talk about that some other time, but you can look it up. Okay, so this zayin, weapon and penis, refers to both uniting and dividing, cohering and separating, bringing forth life and death. It symbolizes the striving of the intellect, as in the mystery of love, and trying to figure it out. Duality, separation, unity. So here's the sun. The sun is, I'm going to say this again in a minute. We are all the sun. So if you can follow this, it's not just the male children. We are all the sun. Okay, so the sun is dropped into the world and has to find his way. And he has to remember who he is in this world of opposites. And there's the sword that goes down the middle of the card and the tree of life appearing. He has to deal with that. We all have to deal with it. Separation. So the son gets hurt and the mother comforts him. And the son is wounded even in the first place by his own mortality. We all are. We have to figure this out. And hopefully, I want to say, the mother comforts him. But we can find this comfort by reaching inward and reaching outward. But sometimes we don't find it, and the mother doesn't comfort us. I don't want to go into that too deeply, but that's part of the problem, that we don't get comforted. We are all the son, and we may love and hate our mother. That is true, because she would be seen as the birth giver and the death giver. Maybe she doesn't take care of us. And yet we are even our mother as well. So this is part of the mystery of the lovers. What is that? What does that mean? So the lovers is also, by the way, and it's not by the way, it's an archetype of healing. So we have all that separation and all of that hurt and pain inside of us, but it's also the archetype of healing. And here comes the caduceus. I will care for you. I will care for you. You are hurt. The intelligence of the lovers, I find this really interesting. I grappled with this a lot about 10 years ago. It's called the disposing intelligence. Every one of these cards has an intelligence associated with it. Lovers, the disposing intelligence. So I put a row of trash cans there, which are separated into plastic, paper, and cans. So you can really get this. Okay, so when we separate out in our consciousness, it ignites our understanding. Understanding ignites creation. Creation requires selection to become. And the disposing intelligence analyzes, divides, and separates possibility, all possibility, into distinct categories and forms of manifestation. When we understand this, we become better manifestors. Thereby, the cosmos creates form in the formless, carves name in the nameless, and is the power to unite, to separate, and reunite anew. These are the cosmic properties. The disposing intelligence, experience, and reflection, that's what the disposing intelligence is. It's a great power of ours, and it ignites our will to love. And it shows us what is worth dying for. It's what is worth living for and what is worth dying for. So on the tree of life, the male and female are equalized in the upper supernal triangle or the cosmological triangle. It's the triangle of equal amounts of energy pouring into the number 2 and the number 3. Okay, and the 2 is the male and the 3 is female, and it's equal amounts of energy in both parts of creation. So here's some more teachings. In sphere number 1, which is called the crown of creation, that is the sphere called I am that I am. And it holds the qualities of absolute compassion, humility, creation. It's the power of origination. Then sphere 2, Hakma, that is initial flash of insight and then wisdom. It's the sphere of wisdom, number 2. It's the power of attraction and discernment, disposing. We're not attracted to everything equally. We are attracted to certain things that leap out at us because we're predisposed. That's considered to be the male sphere. And then sphere 3, female sphere, is the sphere of understanding. And it's also about discernment. It receives, interprets, and structures these insights into coherent knowledge. That is the legend of sphere number 3, the power of creation, the female. So male and female receive equally from the crown of creation in the Kabbalistic tree of life. And every one, that means every one of us, every one contains male and female. We get all those qualities as above that pour into us. So here's creation on the path of the lovers. The path of the lovers goes between number 3 and number 6. So the water mother, all the mothers live in sphere number 3. All the sons or brothers live in sphere number 6. So here they come together, 3 to 6, 6 to 3, back and forth on the path of the lovers. And that star, the 6-pointed star, is a symbol of the path of the lovers, and also of sphere number 6. It's a 6-pointed star, sphere number 6 in sacred geometry. So here is the fire, 3 to 6, 6 to 3. So it starts out, let's say, it can go either direction, but say sphere number 3 to sphere number 6. So here this is all about spirit, our spiritual path, what brings us alive. This is the birth of light, and this is making our offering into the world, the 3 to the 6. So we set our intention. We admit and emit light and love. We create devotional practice, and then soon we're making our offering on the tree of life. This is as we move from the birth of light within ourselves into the number 6, a 6 of fire. So it's 3 to fire to 6 of fire, and those two are connected back and forth, back and forth. So once you really start to internalize all this information, it's a lot of information, but if you were to draw that in a reading or something like that, if you were to draw the 3 of fire, you could say, oh, I see. It's connected with the mother. It's a 3. It's connected with that path of the lovers as well. And if I can think into this and reach into the material world with it, because the material world will be related to the number 6, 6 of fire, I can move my path into a sacred offering on the planet. That's what these two cards show us. So you might just draw the 3 of fire, and it could bring up all these energies. The mother energy might even be the fire mother energy, and then into making your own offering on the planet, so to speak. Okay, so all of these cards, these 3s into 6s in 4 suits. So in the 3 of fire, we're reaching up, and when we get to the 6, by the time we might be reaching down, but I'll explain that in a second. When we get to the 6, those two energies cross. Okay, now it's said, there's a lot of information here, you guys. I just realized that so much right now. But it's said in the fire is called a male suit. in the fire and the air or wind, those are two male suits. We're reaching up, 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 trying to understand that both the fire and fire reaches upward. Wind is seeking, seeking, seeking with the intellect to understand, understand, understand. And then in the other two suits, which would be water and earth, the reaching is down, down. We're reaching down. That's to receive, receive, receive from the above and reach down. Those are called the female suits. We've got two male suits and two female suits. So this is fire, male suit, and reaching to understand, like fire reaching upward, the flame. And then here's in the water, 3 to 6, 6 to 3. Water is all about understanding, compassion, releasing positions that can become entrenched patterns of separation because water wants to unite. And so we move from the three of water, which is the first inclination of this stream of love, into the 6, which is faith, that it's going to be okay. So water's moving downward and trying to contain the energy that wants to flow into us, and then moving into a position of faith. It's going to be okay. And then the wind, it's the same. This one is reaching upwards, seeking. So here we go in the realm of mind or consciousness, separating, disposing, seeking, dissolving, and persisting. And this is all about evolution and eternal cosmological love. That is what we're learning. Going from the 3 of wind, which is the place of recognition. Recognition, it's an identity change. It's recognition that we've come too far to turn back. We are going forward. And where are we going? We're going into the 6. Clarity. So these cards are all interconnected. What is the clarity all about? It's about all of the things we just talked about in the lovers. Separating, disposing, seeking, dissolving, persistence, and then evolving, seeking toward eternal cosmological love. And then earth. Earth is about purging, purification, renewal, releasing, seeking unity, owning your own love and your own happiness, finding the way to do that, giving, sharing, healing, and walking the beauty way. 6 of earth on the right, the beauty way. And on the left is the 3 of earth. And the 3 of earth is called works, and it's coming up with practices, processes. It's called works. How can we work this to move into the beauty way? And both of those connected with the path 3 to 6. 3 to 6, the lovers. So here's the mystery of the lovers. Separation is essential for evolution. It is said by some that the reason we become separate beings is so that we can learn about love and the nuances of unity. If we weren't separate, we wouldn't reach toward another. So it's essential in the process of creation. We are each a spark of the great flame or spirit with a capital S, the spirit of the universe becoming. So then you say, well, what is the whole universe about? And then what I go into is, yes, the universe is an adventure on the path of its own creation. Like, what can we do to create and to move toward something? Okay, so now here's another numerological thing. The devil stands behind the lovers in the major arcana. The reason is the devil is number 15. So we go into the numerology 15, 1 plus 5, 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. So they say that number reduces to the lovers, number 6. And so the devil represents, again, creation, Capricorn, matter. And the reason it becomes the devil is because people are afraid of the dissolution, that it will dissolve, that creation will dissolve. All matter eventually dissolves. Okay, that creates fear in people. And I'm quoting here Virginia Delp. Maybe some of you knew Virginia Delp. She passed a long time ago, but she was in a lot of a lot of my classes. And she always would say, every time the lovers came up, she'd always say, I can never see the lovers without seeing the devil standing right behind. She's a little bit cynical about this, right? So right behind, that's Virginia, if any of you remember her. Virginia, I hope you can hear this. Anyway, she would get a big kick out of it right now. But so we have the lovers, and kind of like paper dolls, we have the devil standing right behind the lovers. Matter, because whatever is produced is going to dissolve again. And the key for moving through this feeling of the devil is vision, because the third eye of the devil, on the third eye there, well, I should put it this way, the Hebrew name of the card, the devil, the Hebrew letter associated with the card is ayin, which means vision, vision. And so on the card, you see the third eye of the devil. The idea of that is open your third eye to see a bigger picture and expand, at least double the size of the picture you are seeing, to move into an expanded view of the cosmos and the world. World means the human created world. So here's the third eye. Reach into a greater perspective. So then, created of and as spiritualized matter, with the power to reflect upon its own existence and to dispose, that's the intelligence, disposing intelligence of the lovers, we feel the urge to seek our purpose. This is what it's all about. And then flash, we get a flash of insight, wisdom, and understanding. And then when we get that, we can begin to participate much more effectively in the miracle of creation. We begin to seek and discover beauty, the beauty way, and within that, our individual gift, our faith, our clarity, and the beauty way. Those are the 4 sixes. This is what we find. The esoteric title of the lovers, and here's my favorite part today, the esoteric title is Children of the Voice. Okay, here we are, the children of the voice. People, the children of the voice are the billions of forms that emerge into manifestation via past 17, the lovers. Okay, these children, all of us, continue to channel creation through love. The voice is the cosmological vibration, the word, the divine song that collects, gathers, and collapses potential into individual forms of being. And for those who have eyes to see, every child is a child of the voice. Every child is a lover and a child of love. As children of the voice, we can strive to awaken the memory of which we came and to whence we shall return. So this is the mystical quest of the spiritual seeker, and it's very much contained in this particular archetype, this particular card, the lover. We are the children of the voice. We are the creative expression of cosmos, as cosmos, of cosmos, by and for cosmos. We are the lovers. We are the children of the vision and the voice. And here's the problem. We come in and we don't remember everything. We might remember some things, but we're 9 months in gestation. We're floating in the spirit, heart, and mind of our mother, not to mention her body. And then suddenly we're too big to be in there anymore. And we journey across the great abyss. The plates in our head actually collapse. And then we pass through this very thin place into the next dimension. So we actually move from water into air. It's wild. Every one of us, we've been there. Every single person. Well, and I mean, you might get, if you were born by cesarean, you might skip the part about the squished head plates, but still, you came from water to air. That's a big journey. We got to learn how to breathe for the first time. We've got to learn how to breathe again. We've got to figure it out, and we got to figure it out fast. The umbilical cord is severed. Bam. Just like that. It's so fast. But we're not viable. We're not even viable. Okay, I mean, this could be super traumatic for us, just being born. Okay, so then nourished by her love and milk sustain us. I put her body because we're her too. So, okay, oh boy, I could really diverge, and I'm just going to diverge a little tiny bit. I did a huge study on birth. I interviewed 76, well, I did 10,000 births, a study of 10,000 births in the state of California, but as part of it, I interviewed 76 women about their births. And this one woman told me she lifted her baby up and she looked into her baby's eyes. This is at the moment of birth. And she looked into her baby's eyes and could see no distinction between the two of us. Them. She said, I see, there was no distinction between the two of us. We were one being. And then after some little time, minutes, it faded and they were two beings. But at first they were one. Okay, so we're nourished by her until we grow. We're dependent. Okay, but she is our life as the cosmos is our life. For better and for worse, she's our life. Your mother is the Milky Way. That's what I'm bringing forward. We are all part of this. We are all part of this cosmos. Here she is, and you guys, I think you know that that mother's milk, that the Milky Way was named after mother's milk. I'm sure you know that. Our cosmos is the Milky Way because we're nourished by the mother and her milk. That's the ancient mystery. You are the child of her spirit. And here she comes. This is you leaping. And you are the child of her heart. Bum, 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 bum. And you are the heir of her consciousness. It's all there. Open to receive it. And you are her body. You are her vision. And you are her voice. You are the child of the voice. And so here's what it comes to. What's your vision? And of what will you sing? And when this hit me so deep and so hard, it changed everything that I wanted to say in my life. I wanted to move into a deeper understanding of the eternal and less attention on the transient. Bring in the eternal and inject it into the transient, so to speak. Moment by moment, each of us begins to remember our origin in the miracle of creation. Moment by moment, one by one, each of us begins to find our vision and our voice. And that way, and thereby, each of us can exalt the journey of creation. And I threw this little phrase at the bottom in at the very last minute, of thee I sing, because that's what I want to sing in my life. And now we're going to enter the initiation of the lovers, the mystery of love, duality, separation, unity, and we're going to be activated by these colors. These are the colors of the lovers: orange, pale mauve, which is kind of purplish gray, red color, new yellow leather, reddish gray, and the musical note D. And here is where I just remembered I forgot to put my clock in front of me, and I've got to time this. Hold on, I'm getting my clock, everybody, and you can check out my room while I'm getting it. Just that. Okay, I have my clock because even though you might not think that I am attending to serial time, right? I want to go into Kairos, not Chronos, and yet we must attend to serial time to some extent. All right, we are going to enter into this meditation now, a meditation on the lovers. And in this meditation, I'm going to invite you to travel with me deep into your own consciousness with the sound and the colors. These are the colors and the sound of the heartbeat. You are her heart. Okay, and I'd like to ask you too, if you don't already have a piece of paper out, to get a piece of paper so you can write down a few things during this meditation. Okay, so just listen. Let those colors that you see come in to your consciousness. The orange, pale mauve, new yellow leather, reddish gray. You don't need to distinguish all those colors. Just let them come in. And breathe. Begin to breathe and listen. Listen. The colors. The indigo starlight. Breathe that in. Distant explosions. Sounds moving through the universe, sound waves and energies spinning together. The sun, our star, the earth, our home, Earth's sky, the morning light, orange, pale purplish red, reddish gray, dawning yellows, sound waves, voices. Feel this in your heart. Your bloodstream pulses. Your heart beats with the pulse of the planet. Your arteries and veins pulse as rivers. Breathe in. Inhale. Exhale slowly. You are held in the folds of the living cosmos, loving cosmos, living cosmos. You are held in the cradle of the living mother. Call upon that gentle guidance that is with you and in you. You are loved. And now imagine, between worlds you are beloved. Between worlds you are held. Between worlds you are cradled. You can hear soft sounds, gentle sounds, expressions of beauty, expressions of love. expressions of imagination. Imagination unbound. Imagination pulses with the spirit of creation. The heart beats, the blood flows, the cosmic sea laps gently on the shore. Everything is beginning. Everything is alive and has been, ever has been, forever and for all time. Imagine that you live inside the voice of the never-ending universe. Imagine that you are becoming that voice. You are becoming that future, that vision and that voice. It is all inside of you. It pulses in every cell of your body. You are universal vision. You are universal voice. You are the cosmological story unfolding. You are the cosmic vision. You are the cosmic voice. You are the child of the voice, and your moment has come. Let your love be greater than your fear. Listen. The voice is coming to you. The voice is coming through you. Listen. You are learning. You are healing, becoming whole. Listen. And now we will ask some questions and we will listen. We will let the answers come. We will let the answers flow through us easily and clearly and simply. Listen now. Write down the question and listen for the answer and trust what comes. The first question, and write this down and trust what comes. What has hurt you? What has hurt you? What has hurt you? And just let it come simply and clearly. Now we're going to move to the second question. Write this down and just let the answer come simply and clearly. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Just trust what comes. now we're moving to the next question. Number 3, how does love embrace and heal fear? How does love embrace and heal fear? How does love embrace and heal fear? Trust what comes. Go to the next question. Number 4, how will you recognize the voice of love? How will you recognize the voice of love? How will you recognize the voice of love? Next question, the 5th question, how are you the voice of love? How are you the voice of love? How are you the voice of love? And the last question, the 6th question, how will you practice love? How will you practice love? How will you practice love? is embraced by love. Fear is transformed by love. Love is greater than fear. Love is greater than fear. And now we're going to return to full waking consciousness, knowing that you can return to this place of eternal time. You can return to this place anytime, and now that you know that, we will begin to come back. Thank and release any guidance you have had today. Guidance from the stars of the earth. And hold your vision with gratitude as you return to full waking consciousness. Return. And we also have a reading, a tarot reading, which can take us deeper into this place and these teachings of the lovers. So this is what it looks like, and you can come back to this, but right now we're going to come to an end. But first card, number 1, how is universal love reaching toward you? And you shuffle, draw a card and put it in that position. Number 2, what cosmic wisdom sustains you? Number 3, how do you understand and practice cosmic wisdom? 4, what holds you in cosmic love? 5, what separates you from cosmic love? And these are all connected with the spheres of the Tree of Life. How can you voice or express cosmic love, cosmological love? Participating in the expression of the story of the universe. All right, and you can come back to this, and right now we're going to go on and bring this lecture for today to an end. So here's your practice. Turn your attention away from the transient and toward the eternal. Reach into divine nurturance and support. Open to receive divine healing. Reassemble the disparate parts of yourself. Seek wholeness. Realize oneness. Practice nurturance and support. Love unites. Express love. Practice love. And then to bless our journey, may you reach deep within to find love. May you discover love at the heart of being. May you rend the veil that masks the source of all love. May you dispel anger, hatred, and envy. May anger, hatred, and jealousy be as lines drawn on water. May you render sacred that which seems mundane. May you focus your attention on cosmological expression. May you walk your path as cosmological love. May you open to receive the key of the lovers, for you are the child of the voice. And these are the texts that we're working with. And if you want to go deeper, you can go into any of these texts and look at the lovers, number 6. And in the end, as always, such deep gratitude. I have such deep gratitude for you. Thank you. I bow to you, beloved. Namaste.